Did you know a royal prince was once accused of being Jack the Ripper? Let's take it back to 1888. Queen Victoria reigns over the British Empire, and London is a metropolis, bursting at the seams due to immigration. This naturally led to poverty and people falling between the cracks of society. Crime, prostitution, gambling all blossomed in these years. Between 1881 and 1891, there were 11 separate murders, known at the time as the Whitechapel murders, in the east end of the city. These were heinous and bloody murders that had the entire city on edge. History would remember them as the Jack the Ripper murders. But how does the royal family fit in? At the time, Prince Albert, or Eddie as he was known in the family, was a grandson of Queen Victoria and second in line to the throne, behind only his father, the Prince of Wales. The prince was 24 years old, and like other privileged wealthy men of his class, he lived a life of leisure. He was, however, linked to the notorious Cleveland Street scandal. This scandal involved a brothel. Though Eddie was not convicted or formally charged, it did darken his name in the public discourse. When Jack the Ripper started his bloodbath, some keen eyes and observers turned their attention towards Eddie. Formally, the first printed theories of this kind were printed well after the murders in 1962. The theory was that the prince had impregnated a Whitechapel prostitute and then had pursued murders to ensure that the secret did not get out. Most senior scholars of the subject, however, do not consider this theory very legitimate. At the time, royals were recorded and their travel was well documented. And if you look at the records, you can see that in many of the cases when murders did occur, the prince was not actually in London. For example, the murders of Catherine Eddowes and Elizabeth Stride happened in London in 1888, but at that exact time, the prince was in Scotland at Balmoral. The prince would ultimately die prematurely at the age of 28. He would never be king, and the world would never know the true identity of Jack the Ripper.